Ball, Socko!
Tiger had to go to the bathroom or something.
Tiger!
Hold on, I'll be right back.
Waffle!
Yeah, Tiger left.
Babyface!
I'm not Tiger.
No hair, nickname to be determined. Welcome to WCBJ, the Comic Book Jones podcast. Coming to you from 2220 Forest Avenue, Staten Island, New York.
We're hip.
Woo!
It's gonna be fucking good dog.
For those of you who listened to last week's podcast, I have returned. I was kidnapped and I was kidnapped and replaced with an imposter.
Dude, you were clearly here. Wasn't he here, Sheba?
And I will just say that you should all be ashamed of yourselves.
No, we shouldn't. What?
We're having such a good time.
You should be ashamed of yourself too. Then you made some great points last week. You're ashamed of your opinions?
Well,
Sometimes.
I didn't make any opinions.
Do you have a favorite moment from last week's podcast?
I will say you talked about comics in that podcast. I think more than we've talked about comics.
Is that true? Actually, that is true.
Yeah. We flowed freely. You know, we didn't have the structure.
We didn't have the walls.
Yeah. That's right. It wasn't Annandale versus New Springfield. Inside joke, Staten Island.
I would have gone for any other guest host. No, that's not true. Derek did a fine job.
What about your buddy? Come on.
Yeah. Oh, Satan wasn't a guest host. He was just hanging out.
He talked up the He was a wonderful surprise, by the way. I was outside having a cigarette, and then somebody dropped him off in a minivan, and I noticed him in the passenger seat, and he kind of waved him on like this, like, no, they've got like, I don't want them to see me dropped off. It was like fucking going to school, like, and your grandpa dropping you off in the old fucking Dart or something.
He sent us an email, and I didn't know he had his own website.
Which Dart's can sign here anytime.
Yeah. He has his own website. I didn't know. It's a little bio and stuff.
Oh, does he really?
Me and Kenny were kind of chuckling at it.
Don't say his name.
Oh no, it's
just Satan.
Satan.com.
That's it. Say his fucking name.
Yeah, send us the pictures of what you get when you type in Satan.com.
It was weird. He was working all this week, even though he was in the city. I think he's leaving tomorrow morning, and I didn't get a chance to see him in person at all.
No.
I'm sure he'll be back in 2 weeks. Don't worry.
You saw him last week.
I'm sure you're crushed. You all right, Ed?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
I'll manage.
All right, good.
You need something? You need a hug?
No, I think I'll be okay. Maybe during the...
Kenny, give him a hug.
What? No.
Oh, babyface.
So, what'd you do last week that you weren't here? Oh, no, well, that you were here, but you weren't here.
Yeah.
What'd you do?
Oh, yeah. My sister had to graduate from college.
At night? At 9 o'clock at night?
Yeah. This is the weird thing. It wasn't even
Did she graduate in Calcutta?
It wasn't even the regular Hunter College graduation. It was the Hunter Honors College graduation.
Oh, so I went to Hunter.
Oh, yeah. I went to Peru.
Same city. I was close.
They are both CUNY. City University of New York.
See what happens when you graduate from college? You get a nasty attitude like this guy.
I've always had.
Yeah, all right,
Someone's got to keep this place well-rounded.
That's right. Yes. It's what waffles here for.
So I have a theory.
Is that a fat joke?
Well, you're insecure, so it didn't become a fat joke.
I have a theory that Ed didn't actually, well, maybe he did have a graduation, but not as late as he said it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I think he just wanted to cool off and not deal with us for a
Okay,
week.
that's fine.
All night buffet by yourself?
Wow.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of loneliness, and that's what popped up in my head.
After the comments you made about dildos last week, I don't know if we should let you talk.
We were all talking about dildos.
Oh, yeah, but your comments were especially...
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Tiger.
I tried to make everyone laugh.
And I will say you were the first person I've met who, when they think of the image of a man holding a dildo, automatically children come into the picture. I don't know how that happens or where that works in your brain.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I said. I just remember bananas.
Well, you should listen back.
Bananas.
Right. It's basically saying that you make a banana paste out of a dildo and feed it to a child.
Yeah, I was saying it's a similar color to semen.
I'll be honest, if you worked for any other employer, I don't know if you would have survived this.
What other employer would give me a podcast to be part of?
Well,
He's hanging on a thread as it is.
This is voluntary. You don't get paid for this.
Yeah.
I just want everybody to know that Waffle and Babyface do not get paid for this.
Yes, we're off the clock.
Ed wants to, but it's never going to happen.
No.
You got those contracts written up?
Yeah.
All right.
Did you miss us?
Yes, yes, I did. I did.
Tonight is an epic evening. We have not one, but two special guests.
Actually,
Two.
it was three.
No, but two
You guys
counting
are
as
one
one.
It's like the Spice Girls
Me and
song.
Ryan are only one person.
Yes, there's
Jake and Ryan from Minions of Gozer are here.
I'm clapping for myself. That's embarrassing.
really get close to the mic.
All right.
And also later on, my favorite Englishman and one of my favorite comic book writers, and I think a lot of people would agree, Mr. Ben McCool is here as well.
Yay!
Hello there. There you go.
All right, let's jump right in and find out Jake and Ryan's secret origin. How did you first start reading comics, and what were the events that brought you to Comic Book Jones?
Well, me myself, growing up on the West Coast in Oregon,
Him himself being Jake.
Yes, Jake, me,
It's
myself.
Jake speaking.
Yes, Jake speaking. Growing up over there, I had my comic book shop, Things from Another World, which is a great shop in Oregon. And I would go there all the time, and how I would earn comics is by doing chores, manual labor, growing up on a farm, having to chop wood. Chop and split wood into
No,
cords.
you're really weak arms.
Yeah. that definitely happened to me as well. So that was my main origin. I mean, I've been reading comics since I was probably like, 10, getting into them. First comic trade I remember getting is Superman versus Aliens.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. That's
How old are you, Jake?
awesome.
I'm 26.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a youngin'.
Yeah.
I'm still the youngest at the table, I think. Am I?
I don't know.
Who's older?
Yeah.
I am 25. I am Ryan.
Yeah,
I'm 25.
I think I'm the baby at the table still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's older than me. Oh,
So Ryan, how did you first get into comics?
Sure. I remember just as a kid just watching tons and tons of Batman on VHS over and over again.
What, the animated or?
The Michael Keaton.
Oh, okay.
Just watching it. It's the reason why I till this day drink Diet Coke, because there was a commercial.
I have that. I watched that on VHS like a year ago. I found it.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's so Alfred is pouring Master Wayne a Diet Coke for him as Batman goes and drives his Batmobile. And yeah, I mean, the fact that Indiana Jones also did it solidified the deal on
Us Brits
last
were tragically deprived of such wonder.
Do you realize that Ed just put it in and said that's what, like, he watched it on VHS too, but you can watch it on DVD if you like.
Maybe if I'd have seen that
Not that
commercial.
Diet Coke promo.
It's on
That's
YouTube, that
insane.
promo though.
Maybe if I'd have seen that commercial growing up in America, I would have drank Diet Coke instead of regular Coke and not been such a fat bastard.
You're looking get good, Ben.
Mate, shafted by being
It doesn't
British
help.
once again. Anyway, sorry to interrupt, mate. Sorry.
That's okay. So after that, I just fell in love with just reading Batman slowly. I remember the first time I grabbed a Batman comic was around like the early 90s, so I grabbed my first comic unknowing, like, why is Batman blonde right now? And now I know I fell in through the Nightfall series. But afterwards, I've been reading just nonstop with just Superman and Batman, mostly Batman at the moment, and just it's pretty light and stuff.
So now you guys still read comics on a?
Oh yeah. Well, I don't really pick up single issues that often because how many pages, and then you gotta wait another month for the next issue. So I typically wait for trades. I've been reading a lot of independent comics. Really just finished The Boys. Just started reading. Then the Gunslinger Born. Just started reading that, which is art now. It's amazing. The thing I like about trades is you can just go in and have a whole complete story before catching it and posted week to week.
So before that, you're reading Lock and Key.
Yeah. I literally just got into that last month, and I dropped how much for for the hardcovers, just so I could get the whole story. And I was so glad that you guys actually had those one of the one shots that I was looking for, because everywhere else I've looked, they don't have it.
And we hipped you the thumbprint today too.
Yes, you did.
Did you read it yet?
I haven't read it yet.
Okay.
I'm
good.
I'm waiting to. Who was the one that suggested smoking something and then listening to jazz and reading?
No, that's me.
That's you. Yeah. I started doing that, and it's fantastic.
Oh, all right. You got to have a glass of scotch though too.
Yeah.
Baby steps.
Baby steps.
That's all going on for comic.
But just so you know, folks, by the way, we're talking about a thumbprint, which is done by Joe Hill, who also did Lock and Key and The Cape, Stephen King's son.
Yep.
Yeah. So if that piques your interest at all. Anyway.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I started reading The Last Trade, and that was
I did read Thumbprint though, and I recommend it.
So, what were the events that brought you to CBJ?
Well, we are in a group called Minions of Gozer. We do a live Ghostbusters shadowcast, and we're going to be on the 22nd at the Full Cup in Staten Island. And
What day of the week is that?
That's a Saturday. Next Saturday.
And what exactly is a shadowcast?
The shadowcast, anyone who doesn't know, it's like Rocky Horror Picture Show. So we play the movie, it's on a screen behind us, and then we act out the movie while we're performing, throwing our own little jokes, a lot of different in-jokes that fans of Ghostbusters would really enjoy, and also a lot of things are done by Deceiver fans. For instance, last time we performed, we couldn't use water, which we usually use to slime Ryan, who plays Venkman. Well, instead, the tiny little Asian girl that's in our cast, Esther Rowe, we dressed her in a Green Man outfit and just had her straddle Ryan.
Yeah. It was pretty fun. Well, I make a lot of sacrifices for the show.
But now, do you guys strictly do the first movie, or do you do?
Yes, at the moment right now, we're doing the first movie.
Okay.
Ryan.
Oh man, that eye roll. Somebody said that was.
Ryan and I disagree on the second movie. I think it's an abomination.
Really?
Yes.
I love the second movie.
No!
All I'm saying is, out of our cast of 15 wonderful people, I just know 2 people in the cast that are not fans of the second
You mean
movie.
2 people who have reason?
2 people who don't understand.
All right, let's break this
Anyways.
down. What don't you like about Ghostbusters
Point,
2?
counterpoint.
Okay, I'm ready for this.
All right. The size of the Empire State Building, the Statue of Liberty is completely incorrect. The way it moves, it's hokey. That move, the second
It's a movie about
is hokey.
The fact that they use a Nintendo Advantage controller just trumps that, though. I mean, it's just phenomenal how they do it. And just the jokes that they make. Is there a national monument in this building? Would you raise your hand, please? Oh, hello, miss. You know, it's just
Lame.
that's awesome.
I will say
Amazing.
what is odd about that film is it seems to have a much darker tone. Yet they still have all of these very fantastical elements like the Statue of Liberty going out there.
You have the He-Man scene and you have the subway scene. Done.
Really,
Ryan smiles.
I love the Scoleri brothers.
Oh, that's great.
Well, that is the best bit in the whole movie, but how long is it? How long is it? Like 5 minutes tops? Yes, there are some great jokes, you know. I didn't know you had you took the bar exam. I took it at night school. Oh, that's great. We got arrested at night. That's the funniest joke in the whole movie, and that's not that great of a joke.
All right.
2 in the box.
You got the birthday party at the beginning.
But I was going to say, that scene in the bathtub with the slime coming out and trying to get Oscar, that's really freaking scary.
Oh, yeah.
Especially for a franchise that had a kids' TV show on at the time. And you would have thought they would have tried to...
Yeah, the original Ghostbusters. I love that cartoon as well.
The original Ghostbusters.
Dude, how they got dressed? That was amazing.
Yeah, I was
That's
just
the
saying,
best ever.
my favorite Ghostbuster is Jake the Monkey.
I think the original plot of the Ghostbusters movie.
See, all this shit, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a little too old for that.
I don't remember all the cartoons, but I had like a ton, like a giant crate of all the action figures and stuff.
As does Ryan.
I still do.
I did back in my mum's loft, attic as you fiendish American. But yeah, like the real Ghostbusters. I mean, again, a tangent here, but I'll just throw it out there real quick. Real Ghostbusters, one of the main show writers was J. Michael Straczynski. I didn't actually know that until
Wow,
recently. He was one of the main show writers.
Love him even more.
That's it, man. I just started. I mean, I was a huge Ghostbusters fan. I saw Ghostbusters 2 the same day as I saw Back to the Future 2.
Oh, man.
It was the day after Christmas. In England, we call it Boxing Day. And so, like, me, my two brothers and mum and dad were like, all right, let's go and watch Ghostbusters. And we were like, wow, Back to the Future 2's on as well. Let's watch that this afternoon. And it was fantastic. So I've got fond memories of Ghostbusters 2. In hindsight, it's not that it's a terrible movie. It's nowhere near as accomplished as Ghostbusters is. But, like, for fans of the franchise such as me, it certainly kind of it contributes to the legacy, but just doesn't quite honour it as it should be.
Don't you mean contributes?
I guess I do.
I think
That's exactly how I
think the biggest fault of Ghostbusters 2 is that he wasn't good enough to warrant the third.
Yeah.
Well, this
They're
is
working on one right now.
No, you
Well, this
shut
is-
your mouth. No, they're not.
Quote unquote.
Yes, they're
Since
working on one in
1997.
Dan Aykroyd's mind.
I mean, there
Bill
were
Murray's on par.
numerous scripts in existence, many of which actually involve, like, I know Egon, what's his name?
Harold Ramis.
Harold Ramis?
Well, he's been involved in a number of them, as has Dan Aykroyd as well. Like, the original script they put forth apparently would have just cost too much to make. It's like hell is literally unleashed on New York City.
Well, originally it took place in the future, and there's already
That's
like
right, that's
and-
right,
yeah,
yeah.
Oh, you're talking the original movie.
First movie.
When it was
yeah.
meant to be Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi.
yeah, yeah. Oh, you're talking about the
Yeah, the third one.
The-
first.
the-
Oh, you're talking. Oh, yeah. Oh,
the
you're talking
prospective,
about-
maybe will happen eventually, third one. But again, it's anyone's guess as to what the status is because it's been rumored to be in production for like nearly 20 years.
Yeah.
Apparently, the last script that was sent to Bill Murray, he sent back shredded.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I heard it's actually the new one is supposed to be Jim Belushi, Dan Aykroyd, and John Goodman. and a little boy.
And a little boy, right?
To be fair, John Goodman seems to be everything just my age, so, you know.
It's going to be called Blues Busters.
2000.
I'm pretty sure there's already a film called that.
All I can ask for is if they make a third, that Rick Moranis becomes an actor again.
Oh,
Isn't
man.
he dead?
No.
It's a cowboy
No,
Canada.
Actually, I have a Rick Moranis
He may
story,
have,
which I may have
you
told
just-
this already.
Nick Redis.
My father once golfed with him at Lot Red on Staten Island.
He once did what?
Yeah, he golfed with him. Dad,
I
back
thought you
us up
said
in
he
email.
got off with him. Wow. He must have loved Ghostbusters, man. You the gatekeeper. So,
Ben, you're being cheeky, Ben.
So I realized we didn't even ask you guys the main question. When did you guys get into Ghostbusters? How old? What's your passion for it?
I mean, I've been into Ghostbusters since I was a kid, as long as I have been with comics. I mean, I had the VHS that was slime green. You know, I watched it so many times over and over again that the tracking was completely off. So you had to watch it while holding the remote.
Rewind it with
Yeah,
the
yeah,
finger.
yeah. Get the yeah, exactly.
classic.
You know, so I've been into Ghostbusters forever, and then I met some of the cast members of the show at Comic-Con, and then on an acting website they posted a casting, went to it, rocked it, apparently, and became part of the cast. And I've been, for over a year, I've been part of the cast.
Yeah, as far as my background with Ghostbusters, I mean, I never remember the first time I've seen it because it's just been ingrained in my head. I've just seen it multiple and thousands of times. And I was obsessed with the first film, the second film, the TV series, and even the 90s Extreme Ghostbusters,
Okay.
which I'll admit I did not like it at all as a kid, but I
Extreme Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
There was a block on
Yeah.
TV that was Extreme Ghostbusters and the Men in Black cartoon.
Yeah.
And that was the
There was
worst,
a
like,
Men in Black cartoon?
yeah, that was the best and worst hour of, of cartoons ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would wake up at 6:30 in the morning to watch every single episode of Extreme Ghostbusters, and I hated every single one. except the last
So
two.
filling a novice, were they new characters?
Yeah, everyone was new besides Janine and
Egon.
It's like the comic series that's going on right now. That's what
Okay.
it's like.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But with The only thing that was ridiculous about that is they were clearly, let's be everyone's friend. So they had, the Black Ghostbuster, they had the Goth Ghostbuster, they had the Ghostbuster who happens to be in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Right.
It's pretty extreme.
That's the Oracle Ghostbuster.
Yeah. So,
Ghostbuster with AIDS.
I
Can't Ghostbuster.
You don't support AIDS, Ed?
I did not say that.
You were about to go there.
Wait.
There's no right way to answer that
Exactly,
comment.
man.
There's no right way to answer that comment.
that's them.
What is that there?
It's
That's
there's a
extreme.
picture of Extreme Ghostbusters.
Ah.
That the audience
Just
can't
so-
So,
see.
yeah, that's
Well, don't
very-
worry.
So,
I
it's,
only recognize Slimer.
Exactly. There's the Goth Girl, who I think is on NCIS now.
What's this inset image then? So,
Yeah, there's an inset image on what Waffle brought up.
What?
I think there's like another dude with glasses, or was that the same person?
No, there's Egon.
Egon.
Yeah, it's Egon.
Egon's part of it.
Oh, so
Yeah,
he's
old
okay. So
Egon.
as in, okay, so he.
Right.
Wow.
He's like the mentor of the group.
I forgot the wheelchair guy is like the buff guy.
Checking out,
Yeah.
like, to, like,
Yeah, he's
I mean, I'm a Ghostbuster.
You know-
I'm astonished to learn that this series actually exists. Because I never actually saw the motherfucker.
Well,
What's weird is I think it kind of came on at the point where I had sort of stopped
But at
watching
3 in the
cartoons.
morning?
Yeah.
You got to the point where you stopped
I
watching
still watch
cartoons?
cartoons.
Yeah.
That's
Every
what I
day.
Star Wars.
I've been mainlining Batman and Beyond on
Oh,
Netflix.
me too.
They put up the goodness of the late 90s
Yeah.
Cartoon Network, and I've been watching nothing but like Powerpuff Girls and Ed and Eddie
yeah.
and Dexter's Lab, and it's been
Boomerang is the
dreamland.
shit,
I'm
man.
watching that too.
Dreamland.
So now, who started Minions of Gozer?
Well, that Minions of Gozer was started by Angela Williams Dunford,
Who's awesome.
who is awesome. She.
I'm assuming that's your boss then.
It might-
Fuck the boss, baby.
So she came up with the idea for the show, and when she moved to Manhattan from Virginia, it was just inevitable that she would just push it forward. So she put up an ad, sent over some ads to protoncharging.com, which is the
That's
best
cool.
place to find out about Ghostbusters news. It's defunct now, but the Facebook page is all it is. So I tried out. I found out about it through Proton Charging. I tried out. I got in as Bankman, which I was thrilled about.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then and since then we've just been doing it ever since. It was when we started. It was just months of going through the lines and the blocking. Trying to be exact with the placement of the film, making sure what we could do in time with the costume changes and the amount of props, the amount of all sorts of logistics. But we're just keep going with the entire film. So yeah, that's how Minions of Gozer started. It was
How many years is it in existence?
It was our first show was in 2011 November. But the Minions started around like February of that same year. That was when the big auditions happened and the groups got together. And then we've been going on since. So we had our first show in November 11th at the IFC Center in the West Village, which used to be the Waverly Theater, where the very first Rocky Horror Shadowcast took place. So we were doing the same exact theater.
The more you know.
Nice.
Yeah, it was surreal.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool.
He's Venkman. I am a terror dog. I specifically, it's a lot of fun because if you do end up coming to the show, anyone who's listening or anyone here, I get to fuck with you. I get to put you on stage. I get to call you assholes. It's a lot of fun.
That's cool.
So,
Yeah, our show has a lot of audience participation. It's a lot of grabbing people up from the audience, pulling them up on stage to do certain things. We have them stack symmetrical books. We just throw egg costumes on them and tell them to terrorize Dana Barrett.
That's always fun.
Yeah, that is great.
Have you guys ever gotten into like a fist fight with somebody you're trying to bring on stage? Have you ever been stabbed?
I've been stabbed, but none of the show. I mean, because the crowd that comes, they're obviously fans. Not a lot of people are dicks.
Yeah.
We did have one guy at one of the shows at the IFC who was clearly just drunk off his ass. In fact, I think he's the one that left the full bottle of Jim Beam in the audience. It was a great treat when we were cleaning.
Oh, yeah.
But because we have the Marshmallow Man come on stage. We had a full latex outfit that was custom made for us. It was awesome. And he ended up getting up, freaking the fuck out, and ripped off one of the hands. Yeah, it was the guy who made it was really
It was terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been in that suit, and because it's made out of foam rubber, all you do is sweat.
No, sure.
All you do is sweat.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, I mean, the audience has just been extremely responsive and supportive. You know, we rarely have a show where the audience is into it. I mean, granted, we've had times where people are just not into it, not having it at all. But for the most part, people know what they're getting into. Some people come prepared, some people come dressed up.
Right.
Some people just are just sitting in the front rows waiting to have silly string piled upon them.
One of the more interesting things we did was last year during the Pride Week, we did a gender bender edition.
Okay.
So Ryan here played Dana, and it was one of the more ridiculous things I've ever seen. Him freaking out, eggs chasing him that he could obviously smash with one fist.
Yes.
But yeah, that was a great time. I got to be a Gozer in that one, and I got to choose what it looked like. I chose Dr. Frankfurter.
You know, I was just gonna ask you if anybody's ever like shown up as Dr. Frankenfooter, just like and been like, fuck, I'm at the wrong thing.
Not just
Tomorrow.
We're actually really good friends with the New York City Rocky Horror Group. Some of them there actually comes to our show very frequently. Like even two of them dressed up as Psychic Jennifer and this male student from the beginning of the film where Bankman zaps the male student. And the psychic. They came dressed up as that, and I just love seeing how creative the costumes can be. Some people come dressed as ghosts, some people come as Janine. We definitely have like a bunch of Ghostbusters come to our show all different times. Like it's really funny trying to see them trying to put their proton packs away.
Yeah. Also, it's really funny when people do show up at the AFC Center. They're like, "Oh, Ghostbusters! We'll go see Ghostbusters at midnight," and then they have no idea. I just wanted to watch the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. That's happened a couple times.
And that's happened a couple times,
Yeah.
and that's been spectacular.
Yeah, because they're the ones I automatically go to screw it.
Tonight, I'm actually in costume too. I'm dressed as Key Grip David Stevens. He was, he worked on the first film. Costume.
I thought
you guys don't know everything about it.
I don't.
I thought you were Rick Sanders, the best boy. I'm
Well,
sorry.
is that his real name? I get excited.
He's not that good.
You think I watched the credits while jerking off?
No.
Freeze frame.
Wait,
I'm
you
not
too?
saying that. I didn't think you looked at the credits.
So okay, so like just to ask like an amateur hour question, like at any point does the movie pause while you do stuff, or does it?
Nope.
So it's continuous. Like everything you do is completely in response to what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
Live time, real time, on screen.
Yeah, there are very few times where we're not on stage. It's usually because of a costume change. But for the most part, we are there doing exactly what's done in the film, and also too, we throw in some things that are just talked about in the film but aren't shown. Like the time Egon tried to drill a hole through his head.
He was hilarious.
We showed Egon drilling a hole through his head.
And
We
you
just
said there's
did
15 people in the cast.
Mhm.
Are all 15 on stage at once?
For some scenes.
That's
Yeah,
gonna be tough at the cup.
Well, for some scenes we pull people on, like
Yeah.
we like the biggest scene that we have with most people is definitely the crowd scene when they go to the the Shandor building and everyone's cheering Ghostbusters. Like that's the biggest scene with audience participation.
Also, that tends to be the scene I get pelted with candy hearts in the face.
Oh yeah. For Ray Stantz, the heart of the Ghostbusters,
Yeah.
everyone throws candy hearts. But yeah, that scene right there. I mean, that's definitely the one scene where we have probably like 15 to 20 people on stage.
Yeah.
Not even all our people. you
Yeah,
know?
mainly we pull up the audience for that
Yeah.
scene. Also, the party scene, there's
Oh, yeah.
a lot of people on stage.
Sure,
the
yeah.
prison scene, there's a lot of people on stage.
Yeah.
But it's actually really surprising how good we are at it. I mean, we agonize over every little detail.
Yeah.
Being screen accurate and everything. We know that the audience doesn't know everything, but we know, so we obsess about it.
Yeah, we do scenes over and over again.
And over
rehearsals.
and over.
So how many rehearsals
Yeah.
will you guys have like a week, like leading up to a show?
It depends on how many new cast members we have, because we have new people come in. Some people may need to leave and not be part of the cast for a while, take a break. So depending on when we're gearing up for a show, we typically try to have at least one rehearsal a week.
Yeah. This upcoming show we're having 2, and then we're actually having a tech run this week.
Yeah, we're doing a tech run.
Go ahead.
Where do you guys meet?
Out people's places.
Yeah.
We used to do rehearsal space, but that gets spendy when you're doing it every week.
Money is pricey with this show.
Yeah.
Do you think on the 22nd at the Cup that maybe Ben can be special guest as the librarian ghost in the beginning?
I shriek admirably.
We can definitely arrange something. If not the librarian, definitely an egg.
Definitely an egg.
Definitely an egg.
Definitely an egg.
Yeah.
I'm in charge of that. I can do that.
You know what? We shall talk.
And if you want to see how that works out, remember it's Saturday the 22nd at the Full Cup.
And what time does that start?
But that is 9 o'clock. Typically we do it at midnight, but it's going to be at 9 o'clock. You can get advance tickets for $10. It's $15 at the door.
Yeah. It's 9 o'clock. Bring your kids.
And you guys at Twitter, you're at Minions of Gozer,
Yes.
Yes.
and you have a website.
Minionsofgozer.com.
Oh, all right.
Is there anything else going on that night, or is it just you guys doing the cast?
Well, we're doing the show, and then afterwards there is going to be a dance party and bands playing.
Cool.
2 bands are meeting together. That is going to be the Melon Farmers, which I think is one of the most clever names for a group, and the Tryptophan.
Tryptophan.
Yeah.
Oh,
I heard they're becoming a super group in this
yeah,
show.
they're becoming a super group that they're calling.
They're like Derek and the Dominoes.
I think they're calling themselves the Stream Crossers for this. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And apparently they're going to be playing a lot of covers of the music from Ghostbusters.
Yeah. I really hope they play Saving the Day.
Saving the Day.
What's up? Is that what about the Bobby Brown song?
Yeah, the Bobby Brown.
Oh, I would love that. That's from the sequel that Jake
Yes.
was talking about. But I do love On Our Own.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah. We can also do Jackie Wilson.
Oh,
You'll love
also
Pretty
from
High.
the sequel.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Could Socko be Slimer?
Yes.
They have the
Penny Sheeple yells yes.
Thank you
If you know
guys.
how to work the puppet, yeah.
He could be the puppet.
Yeah, we have a puppet.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Our so yeah, we have a Slimer puppet that was custom made for our production by this guy named Dr. Puppet. Yeah, he used to work for the Muppets at one point.
That's
So,
cool.
Yeah, so I told him about the show. He got really stoked. We
Charge you $25,000 for a puppet?
I won't say how much. But it was a very negotiated price.
Like, come on, this is a tell-all program.
Didn't you get one made of yourself too?
So that's how I found out.
Wait, one of my dreams in life is to have a Muppet made of it.
This is the
Oh,
guy
wow.
to go to then.
Dr. Puppet?
DrPuppet.com.
Is it like DR dot?
No, it's spelled out, I believe. I mean,
how do you spell that?
I think it's DOCTOR.
Thank you.
Puppets.
full doctor.
Full doctor.
Socko, then you're going to get very jealous of Satan when you find out that there is a little
That's
Stevie.
Oh, I believe
That's
it.
Flash.
Well, what I'd like to do is
Flash.
I would like to have my Muppet sit in for me one
Yeah.
night on the podcast.
It's Dr.
Well,
Puppet,
with you
DR
controlling
Puppet.
the puppet.
No, yeah, of course.
I'm curious how he's going to work in, there's certain holes in the puppet that everyone else is going to want.
What do you mean, in my puppet?
Yeah, your puppet.
Oh, yeah, of course.
A real life Socko.
Yeah, anatomically correct.
Thank you guys so much for coming
No
on.
problem.
Thank you.
I think now it's time we hear the secret origin of our next guest,
Absolutely.
writer Ben McCool.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
So, Ben McCool, how did you first start reading comics, and what were the events that brought you to Comic Book Jones?
Oh, I know. So I didn't realise I actually started recording.
Well, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, this is Ben McCool, writer of Pigs, Choker, Memoir, Lookouts, Nevesky, am I saying that right? Nevsky.
The Captain America.
No,
Saga.
Yeah, stuff basically.
Yeah.
Stuff galore. Ben's
been a little bit of everywhere.
Indeed, man, indeed. I like to think of myself as that kind of a harlot.
Yeah. My favorite
I was
harlot.
going to say stick my fingers in many pies, but that's another story
But I think
altogether. Back to comics.
The title you're most proud of is being my drinking buddy.
Oh, most definitely, man. Socko, a bit of a legend, to say the very least. But my origin in comics, it's something of a fuzzy enigma. And believe it or not, I am actually talking about comics here. I remember, this would have been, geez Louise, 1987-ish. I'd have been like 7 years old. And one of the lads at school turned up with the Beano Annual. Mm-hmm. So the Beano and Dandy were like the two kind of flagship British kids books. They both launched like way back in the 30s. The Dandy recently discontinued. It's still available online, but it discontinued its print run, which actually bucks its trend as being the world's longest running weekly comic book, which is kind of sad. And the Beano was always a rival, and I used to love that. But a lad turned up with this annual, and I'm like, wow, what the fuck is this, man? This looks really awesome. So I was just flicking through it, and I'm thinking, wow, this is great. And I just wanted to start reading more from there. So I guess like the next wave of comic books I was introduced to were like British war comics. There was this awesome book back in the day called Commando. Fucking brilliant. Like 64 pages. They were like kind of like square books. Like they were like, it was DC Thompson was a publisher. I believe they're still in operation, based in Scotland. Dundee, Scotland, unless I'm very much mistaken. But like they were like mostly World War II comics. There was like the occasional one thrown in there. Like there might be like an odd Vietnam story, maybe a Korean War story. It was mostly World War II stories, almost always told from the British perspective. So I knew Germans as Jerrys before I knew them as German. It's like, so I remember World Cup 1990, and in the semi-final it was England versus West Germany. And I said to my dad, I was like, Dad, are the Jerry's going to beat us? And Dad looked at me, he's like, what? So speaking of 1990, that very same year, I met my mum from work. I left school, went to work. So she worked at the local library.
Well, you had a mother at work?
I didn't. Well, I did have a mother. I still do. Oh, bless her. She's lovely. Mother soil together. She worked and still does at the local library, so Solihull Library, and the school I went to was like a 5-minute walk from there. So often I'd kind of finish school and go to the library, whatever. And so she used to like stop off and buy magazines on the way home. Remember magazines? Magazines are awesome. So anyway, I'm really this like newsagent that sells like magazines and kind of cool shit. And I noticed this really awesome looking comic book on the bottom shelf, and it was unlike any comic book I'd ever seen before. It was Extinction Agenda, written by Chris Claremont, Jim Lee, pencils, and it was fucking brilliant. It had like Wolverine on the front doing some like kind of cool Wolverine stuff. I'd never seen this style before. I was like, fucking hell, what is that? And I'm looking through it, and I'm like, Mom, this must be purchased. It's like a quintessential possession of mine. Like, my life will cease to function unless I own this.
But you know what's funny? I picture you like 3 feet tall, but with the same exact size head. With a beer in your hand.
I was gonna say. Pretty much, man. Pretty much. So the comic book was purchased. I was delighted. I think my beard's about to explode. No, it's not. Anyway, so I was delighted. I kind of go back home and I read this motherfucker time and time again. I'm obsessed with it. Like this is like a sacred scroll. This is just something of utmost significance in every major aspect of life.
Do you remember who the artist was?
It was Jim Lee.
There you go.
Jim Lee, yeah. It was just great. So anyway, a couple of months later, I stumbled across a really amazing comic book store in Birmingham is the second largest city in England, significantly smaller than London, and it was the nearest major city to where I live. And I found out there was a dedicated comic book store. A comic book store I actually ended up working in many years later. Well, not that many, but a few years later. And it was called Nostalgia and Comics. And the really cool thing about this store is that it was the first dedicated comic book store in the UK, or for that matter, I think Europe. It opened up in, I believe, 1976. And at the time, there wasn't that many dedicated comic book stores in America either. The dude who opened it up, this dude called Phil.
That's pretty early on.
Yeah, this dude called Phil Clark. He acquired a substantial amount of comic books that had been stored in an air hangar, I believe.
Yeah, you told me this
in
story,
England, and it was like American Air Force who were stationed in England during World War II had brought these comics over for British kids who've been kind of moved away from home because like bombings and all this kind of stuff. It's kind of a really cool story behind it.
It's like a British Mile High.
Yeah, there we go. So he obtained this like large catalogue of extremely old school American comic books, which were like completely alien to the UK market. And so from there, you know, built up a kind of reputation, and the store's still open today. It's really, really fantastic. But anyway, near my tangents, fucking hell.
That's why I was excited to have you on here, man.
I was going to say, man, you want me to eat some time? I can eat that fucking time. So I came across this store, and I was just absolutely astonished. I'm like, oh my God, that one single comic book that completely blew me away. This place has got hundreds of the bastards.
So it was like, for you, it was like, oh my God, there's more of these?
Incredible.
Yeah.
I was staggered.
So you had no like, you know, big brother, uncle, somebody who was into comics at all. You're the start of the comic family tree in your family.
Pretty much. I mean, I knew the characters, like, you know, at that time. Obviously, I'd seen like the Superman movies. I'd seen like a bunch of the cartoons. I knew the characters already. Not the X. When I saw the X-Men comic, I think this is what contributed to my astonishment. Was that these were characters I was completely unfamiliar with. Mm-hmm. They just look really awesome because of Jim Lee's like, you know. And it's kind of weird now that he's like one of my mates. Like, wow, hey, he's kind of like published with DC.
Did you ever tell him the story?
I don't think I did. Probably out of embarrassment, to be honest. But yeah, like it's just now it's just kind of weird. But yeah, I was just completely blown away. So when I found this store, and that's what really made the connection, because there was not only the really wow factor of this art's wonderful, and these stories are really intense and really gripping. I could then find comic books of a similar ilk that featured characters I knew. So like Todd McFarlane, they just started doing like Spider-Man and stuff. And so like 1990, I was like, fucking hell, man, this is like kind of gritty and awesome, and like Venom's like scary. And it's like, wow, it was just absolutely incredible.
Were you as astonished by his webbing as I think everybody else?
Yeah,
everybody was. I mean, I remember because at the time, I don't know, when Todd started working on Spider-Man, I was probably, I don't know, I was getting a bit older now,
right?
And I'd never seen webbing drawn like that.
Oh, in terms of the art,
yeah.
I mean, no, I was like I say, I mean, when I was just captivated. But the funny thing was, at this point in my life,
what did you think I was talking about?
Just webbing in general. Don't you just love webbing? I'm like, he's for them own, mate. He's for them own. But yes, like so, like at the time, I was like, okay, then this stuff is fucking brilliant. Like, you know, I love collecting these kind of books, and I was. So
when you were that young, were you aware of like the artists or you know?
Yeah, no, totally. I was learning. Once I discovered the store, I started to kind of pick up on the names. There were like certain artists that I loved to bits, and others that I was like, oh, I'm kind of intrigued. But you know, yeah, I suddenly started to develop an appreciation for like the names and the styles of the artists. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to be an artist myself at this point. I was like, whenever I used to buy these comic books, I wasn't really picking them up in runs to kind of follow the story. I was picking them up and copying the pictures. It's like, wow, I want to draw comics. So, and like several years later, I realised I was shit and I was never going to be able to do it. So I was like, fuck, I guess I better start writing instead. Luckily that works out a little better. But yeah, so moving on to that point, it's like, for like the first probably 2.5 years, up until like 1993, I was just buying pretty much random issues.
Excuse me.
That was Socko, the filthy beast, man. British people are incapable of being so dreadfully.
Don't really.
Holy fuck, man.
I already told the story about you screaming cunt in the middle of a bar on
I
Sunday
love
on
that
this
story.
podcast. We'll get to that later.
That was actually pretty amusing. So one day in 1993, I'm like, you know what, I'm buying all these comic books, I'm spending my allowance. It's pocket money, but you guys say allowance, on comic books. I might as well like fulfill and make the most of my, the money I'm spending on them. I might as well get my money's worth, as in I might as well start reading them coherently to fully appreciate what's being done. So I spoke to the lads there and I was like, well, what do you recommend? Like, what's really, really cool? And they were like, Preacher. Everyone that said immediately Preacher. And so at the time, like I say, I was like, just infatuated with this like superhero style art, and that was the kind of shit I wanted to start drawing. And so come across Steve Dillon's art, which is obviously very, very different. It's kind of grittier, it's much more lifelike.
Waffle hates Steve Dillon's art.
Steve Dillon's work on Preacher is the only work I can fucking stomach.
He's never finished Preacher because
I can't deal with Steve Dillon's art.
But he can sign here anytime.
He can sign here anytime. He's probably a nice man.
He's a very nice man. Very nice man.
But it's faces. It kills me. I can't. I'm being serious. It's really weird. It's just.
But you like Alex Ross, right?
Yeah.
They're not
You
comparable.
can't compare those. Alex Ross doesn't have blocks for heads, except outside of Preacher.
Garth Ennis is really cool too.
The guy can write, man.
He's a little bit loopy, but he can write.
I credit him with bringing me back to comics. To be honest.
Absolutely. Well, it's like I mean, Preacher. I mean, it to me launched comics into a whole new stratosphere. It's like, oh my god, like. I think like someone else you hate apparently, Kevin Smith said, it's like, wow, Preacher's more fun than going to the movies, which for the most part I'd say is pretty accurate.
But at the time too, wasn't.
This actually before. So, but you know what? I beg your pardon. I've actually got the chronology slightly wrong. I do beg your pardon. What I meant to say is, '93, I was reading Garth Ennis on Hellblazer, which led into '95 with Preacher. Apologies for that brain fart.
And Heidi, your wife, was working with Vertigo at that time? Or
Not quite that early. I think she started in.
Heidi McDonald.
Yeah, I want to say '99, I believe, '99 to 2002. But yeah, like so she got to work with like all the top-notch Vertigo talent, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, so beg your pardon. So '93, he was Garth Ennis writing Hellblazer. He was still Steve Dillon on art.
Yeah.
And that was when John Constantine was like a down and out on the streets of London with like the King of Vampires
story's
around.
fantastic.
Yeah, crazy.
Oh, it's like your backyard.
Yeah,
That's it. So it was kind of pretty cool.
Is that what brought about your penchant for alcohol?
I'm sure it contributed.
Constantine.
Plus also just being British. It's pretty much like kind of built into our DNA. So you wake up screaming. It's not because you're gasping. It's like you wake up, you're born screaming. Not because you're gasping for air, it's gasping for a tart. So 9 months in there with no alcohol. Fuck that shit. Somebody get me a beverage. The British mentality, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, so.
I agree. I got bored reading the graffiti on my mother's uterus that my brother and my sister had left behind as well.
7 weeks down. God damn, it's cold in here.
I wish I had a blanket.
Yeah.
I complain about the food, but there is no food. It's some weird fucking tube stuck into my midriff. Not to complain about that.
I wish I could still.
So now, when did you start working there?
So the first time I started working here was actually, I'm sure you Americans have something similar, called work experience. So I was 15, so yeah, so the same year Preacher came out, I was already a regular customer at this store.
I swear to God, I've been hanging out with this guy for years, and I'm just realizing that I really don't speak English at all.
To be fair, I do speak kind of funny. Even funnier than most British people. I'm yeah. So my hometown, Birmingham. It's the same town Ozzy Osbourne's from.
No,
hence my complete lack of sophistication.
You sound like Gezer Butler.
All from the same town.
Yeah.
People just said that McCool sounds like he's a butler.
Yeah, all 4 of them are from Birmingham.
Yeah, they're all from there.
So is a certain great football club that we both enjoy.
Indeed, man. There's lots of cool things from Birmingham. There's a dreadful, abysmal accent, such as the one I boast currently.
Yeah, I like your
But,
Come on, it gets you a lot. Let's be honest.
This is the weird thing about it. It's like in America, nobody appears to be conscious. At least most people aren't conscious of my Birmingham accent. This would be the equivalent of like a real deep South. It's like synonymous with a lack of intellect and like other kind of unfavourable personality traits. So yeah, so we sound like a bunch of savages. But yeah, so I mean, I actually use this to my advantage because like I get to do like kind of cool writing stuff for a living. How's that? The internet's cool writing stuff. I go back to England and I'll come across these like kind of like poncy posh people, and I'll be like, fucking write comics. Fuck you, better than your job, you cunt. Or something equally appalling. But yeah, so what was the question?
Work experience.
I was gonna say.
Work experience, you were saying.
So yes, the work experience, it was the summer of '95. And I remember,
interesting.
and so like an inside joke, we should explore that later.
Yeah, we should.
You have been warned. So everyone at school was like, oh, what am I going to do? It was like basically 2 weeks away from regular school, where you can apply to whoever the fuck you wanted to apply to, and then go there for 2 weeks. So there was a couple of lads, like 2 of them went to like a theme park.
Lads are boys.
Lads are boys. Yeah, there was one lad who went to like a lady's hairdresser, which is kind of hilarious. There were 3 guys who went to the army because they thought it would make them manly. But it was their mate who went to the woman's hairdresser, and they actually told the sergeant, "Oh, our mates are ladies' hairdressers, probably rinsing old ladies' blue hair." Yeah. And like the army sergeant was not impressed, and they realised hell. They had to like do like 50 push-ups on their knuckles before they were allowed to go to bed. 5 more, you fucking pansies! It was brilliant, at least from what I heard. So yeah, I was like, fuck that shit, man. Real life, work, I'm not interested. I'm gonna apply to the comic book store, and the comic book store were like, sweet, we need someone to like do the bags and boards and all that kind of bullshit no one else wants to do. So we welcome you gracefully. I was there for 2 weeks. I was working the most menial tasks, but I loved it because it was in the comic book store. It's like, you know, I kind of did bags and boards, which, to be fair, wasn't much of a problem to me because I loved that shit anyway. Like, especially as a kid when I was really collecting, I used to sit back at home and just like watch kind of nerdy stuff on TV and boards.
See, to me, it was always the curation. I loved reading the stuff, but I also loved putting my shit in order and the curation of it.
By like once a month, where I go through the short box and I put everything alphabetically.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I get to go through all my shit over and over again.
Yeah, I used to love. I mean, geez, that's to say. I mean, it's kind of different now because, like, minuscule Manhattan apartment, it's basically impossible to be a comic book collector. It's like, I mean, pretty much my whole collection's back at home in England at my parents' place. But yeah, I used to love that stuff. But like working there was just great. It was like, and my first day work experience was the day before Batman Forever came out, the Jim Carrey.
My condolences.
It's an American classic.
It was like the local cinema, the cinema closest to the store. We had like a dual promotion going on.
Cinema is a movie theater.
Socko, with the translation, once again. I mean, listeners to this podcast, incapable of my brutish description.
You know what? Actually, Flickr, we put subtitles on.
I'm not surprised. I remember when Oasis first broke into the US music market, like, and they were interviewed on like it was Letterman or some whatever the fuck it was, and like their accents are absolutely brutal, fiendish even, way worse than mine. And it was just subtitles because I think they were just taking the piss. They were like, you know what? Most people probably aren't going to understand us. Let's make it so that no one understands us. Let's just like talk with as little sophistication as humanly possible. So they were just like, rah, 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 rah. And everyone's like, what the fuck is going on? And like subtitles were running all kind of like reruns. Which is apparently I was taking the piss. Not for the first time. But so there we go. So anyway, yeah, work experience, that was fantastic. And I'm like, wow, I'd love to go back there and work properly. So after I was at college, studying English literature, good luck finding a job with that.
There you go.
So, you know, I was working part-time at the comic book store. I loved it. They offered me a full-time job. And that was it, man. And that was kind of on my way into the professional side of comics because you had loads of like established comic creators shopping at the store. Like some of the locals included like John McCrae, who did like Hitman and Garden, top bloke. Phil Winslade, who at the time was doing Daredevil and loads of cool stuff. You had Steve Pugh, who did was doing a bunch of Preachers. He did one of the Preacher one-shots.
Yeah, he's working on Animal Man right now.
That's right. Yeah, and he's been doing kind of cool stuff for years and years.
Do you remember your first run-in or the first thing you got signed or?
Oh, totally.
You know?
I remember the first time I totally fanboyed out because the owner of the store, or the manager of the store, Dave Hopkins, good pal of mine. He was like, I was talking to him about
Pal means friend.
Socko's taking the thing. and I remember telling him like how much I loved Preacher in particular, but like just Garth Ennis's work in general. And he's like, oh, John McCrae, like Hitman artist, like he shops here, and I thought he was joking. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing shopping here? You know, not so much the store, but like Birmingham, England. Come on. He's like, oh no, he totally lives in Birmingham. I'm like, for real? And lo and behold, he did. So I remember I came into work one day, like, shockingly hungover. This will come as a massive surprise to anyone who's ever met me. Ben hungover, perished at door. I've come into work one morning, and Dave's like, oh, John's over there. And I've like sheepishly wandered over. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, mate, but can you kind of draw stuff on my comics? And he just looked at me like, what? And then I was like, oh no, I work here. He's like, no you don't. And I'm like, yes I do. He's like, I don't believe it. I had to go over and get Dave. And I'm like, Dave, will you tell him that I work here?
Because that makes it better.
Yeah. Dave's like, I guess he kind of works here. and then it was that was like fucking savagely uncomfortable, but kind of hilarious. So whatever.
I have to say, as far as Hitman goes, I think that is, to steal a word that you just said, a savagely underrated series.
Oh, I put it on the wall.
Hitman is fucking fantastic.
It's just so much
Takes place
fun.
in the DCU. It's so fucking good, man.
Oh, it's brilliant. I remember one of the very few. Well, when I was like in the midst of my comic book collecting, I got into via the superhero stuff, like I was saying, like Extinction.
Do you miss collecting?
I do miss collecting, but like one of the things that put me off. Well, I don't know about put me off. One of the things that somewhat deterred me was like when you get big crossover events, you have to buy everything. Like when you're when you're an adult and you've got a job, it's not as big a problem. But me being at college at the time, it's like, oh my god, I can't afford everything. I'm gonna really miss out. So around this time period, the one event I did really pay attention to was DC 1 Million. I think it was like 98.
Yeah.
And the reason
See, I never read any of that.
Well, the one reason that was the event I really paid attention to was because the Hitman DC 1 Million issue was fucking genius. And
that was the first Hitman comic I ever read.
Oh, it was fucking brilliant. But the funny thing about it was the one installment of Hitman of DC 1 Million. That had nothing to do with DC 1 Million. And I'm like, oh wow, maybe all these random characters that appear tie into it. No. But it just completely took the piss.
Did Garth Ennis write that?
Yeah. He was saying creative team, and it was just sort of some really simple idea where Hitman had been like zoomed into the year 1 million, and he was like kind of thought for some like supreme, wondrous bounty of justice.
Let's see, I know nothing about DC. So DC 1 million was literally the year 1 million?
Yeah.
No. It would have been issue 1 million
of that book.
So
it
was 29.
Yeah, it was like it was a time jump. So say Superman was at like 400.
I believe it was the 853rd century.
So then, all right, let's geek out for a second and figure that. Well, then what? No.
It was
written. My brain just broke. I'm sorry.
Most of it was written by Grant Morrison.
Yeah.
There's actually a couple references to it in All-Star Superman.
Yeah.
Wow, these guys know this
the first part I read was the Hitman part, and that was what set the level for the rest of them. And I read every other tie-in completely fucking absurdly confused.
Right.
Because I was like, what does this have to do with anything? Because I used the Hitman one as a basis for DC 1 million.
And of course the Hitman one.
And what
Everything else is wrong.
And I was like, what the fuck's happening?
The thing that's really funny about reading those today is that you can tell that Morrison was the mastermind, and he didn't tell anyone what was going on. He just told people to tie in to his story.
Like
And Morrison's hard enough to read the first time. the third
The
time,
second time.
it's hard enough to understand everything that's going on. So to ask someone to just tie into that, it's just insane.
But people's brains exploding left, right, and centre. Creators and breeders.
Do you recall what the events were that brought you here for the first time?
I've got a vague idea. There were many events. All of them involved Socko and beverages, a somewhat lethal combination. But like I remember it, my first ever time in this store was just absolutely incredible because it was the launch of my first miniseries, which was Choker with Ben McCool. That was my first time here. And that was
You're here once before, no?
No.
that was his first time here.
yeah.
No, 'cause you-
Well, that was my first
the
time.
preview and
You know what? Wow.
Wow, look at Kenny
It
Schmiegel,
was
super
Joker,
fan.
but it was Liberty.
Liberty,
The
right.
CBLDF.
Yeah, CBLDF,
There we go.
right.
You're absolutely right.
That's
Good
right.
Lord.
Fuck.
Yes. So
Good job, Kenny.
So it was Choker, but it wasn't
Hot
issue
power.
1. It was the So me and Samuel Smith both decided. Hot talent indeed. Sexy bastard.
Sad thing is,
Yeah.
Kenny's not on mic, so no one heard what just happened.
Indeed, man. All you need to know is some dude in a Guar t-shirt.
And I think you just summed up Kenny's the last 5 years.
Some guy.
So yeah. So Joker, the introduction was almost like an.
Kenny, you had to take a step away.
Okay, everyone's been sitting now, so let's all calm down. Let's calm down, drink beverages. There we go, there we go. The collective sigh of relief. Always a good sign.
See, this is a good guest host.
The guest host. I just told bollocks indefinitely.
Say bollocks. Bollocks is bullshit.
Indeed. So we had like a six-page short story that was like plucked from the Choker universe. It was like a standalone thing, which kind of like worked sort of in conjunction with the series.
It's kind of
like,
a prequel.
It was cool, yeah, I guess, and like people seem to dig it. And it was, I believe that was was it $300? Then there was
It was our anniversary.
That's
I think,
right, it
yes.
was an anniversary, so we did like a signing. Bunch of cool people here. Brian Glass was here.
Yeah, you did a signing.
Yeah,
Yes,
with
yes,
this,
yes,
and then,
yes.
but then like
There's pictures.
oh yes, there are pictures.
Yes.
Brian Glass was here. Evan
Oh, man.
Dorkin.
And Brian Glass with the ridiculous
Oh, I remember
story.
when
Oh,
Yeah,
and we stayed over at Tiger's house. Remember that?
Remember that?
Tiger?
Oh,
Yes, I do.
That was amazing. We must talk about that another time.
We gotta get Brian on the show to talk about that.
incredible. But yeah, but then like when issue 1 came out, me and Samuel Smith were here. We had like a live band playing in the store. We had like a chef cooking food.
Yep.
Yeah, Rob Burmeister was here.
Captain Ahab and the Sea Krakens
Grew
played.
up with Captain Ahab and the Sea Captain. Basically, what Rob was cooking was
Yeah, man.
he just bought a bunch of pasta
He did a
and
big
you could
pasta
pick
bowl,
any
yeah.
meat or sauce you wanted. He had burners going, and there was plenty of booze to be had. And,
I don't remember anything of that.
It's like being at a wedding.
Yeah,
I was fucking outstanding. It was so much fun.
yeah.
Yeah, geez, and that was like.
And that was the kickoff for your tour. You and
that
Ben
was
went
it.
on tour.
Yeah, we did like a
That's a bad
signing
night.
tour. We went basically everywhere. We did 3 signings in New York. The other 2 were cool, but like, you know, comic book Jones, you know, comic book fucking Jones. Although the other stores can totally come and sign with us. But then we basically went like everywhere else. We went like Florida, like Washington State, Arizona, California, just like places galore.
Yeah.
So like shenanigans were had and everyone.
And thank you very much for putting the photo of Tiger and I and photos of you guys.
Oh,
shot.
totally,
Yeah.
man, totally.
You should sign the one copy of Choker we have. I just popped
Left,
it out.
yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I will school devious
So
things all
whoever
over.
buys it next will just.
Ben, I actually have a quick couple questions for you.
Fire away.
In preparation, I'll be honest, about 2 hours before you, before the show started.
We love the honesty.
Yes.
Because Ed knows I'll blow his fucking spot up.
Yeah.
I did it to you.
He's just like, in fact, when Socko told me that you were gonna be here tonight, he's like, he's a good friend of mine. Don't fucking embarrass me.
That's right.
So I immediately went and I
took him outside with the hammer and the marshmallow. I said, which one you want?
was I read the first 2 trades of Pigs,
Okay, cool.
which was a cool series.
He literally got up from the couch after he read the first trade and came up to the couch and was like, "This is really fucking good."
I'm happy to hear
He
that.
was kind of looking like Reverend Jim from Texas. Oh, that's just that's pretty good.
It's a really good Christopher.
That is a really good.
Wow.
It's almost as good as Marge.
Almost as, my special little guy.
I think that should be added to the drinking game.
Yeah.
So
Get on it.
Somebody say drinking game?
Oh, we have a
Yeah.
drinking game.
I was explaining to him in the car.
A listener of ours sent in a drinking game. It's about, I think, what, 25 points now.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
I played it a couple times during the podcast. It's pretty fun.
So what's the jackpot, the points jackpot?
Oh, there's no points. It's just take a finish your drink.
Oh, right.
Ben's like, how do I make money off of this? I can drink.
The point is not being able to get out of your chair.
I was just thinking about making money, getting the box up.
Yeah. Most things were a sip. Like there's certain things finish a drink. Pretty much. What was some of the finish your drinks? When we get an
If
email
there's a
from-
girl on the
if there's a girl on the podcast, if one of us is in here,
Is someone's what?
If one
if
of us
one of us
is
is
in
in
here,
here,
No, that's just a
Let's just take a sip.
I thought you said if one of us turns into a deer.
That's what happens.
You empty the local liquor store.
you use the
It's Brett Horns.
you use the deer to ram into the liquor store.
There we go.
So, back to Pigs. You co-wrote that with Nate Crosby.
Cosby.
Where did Cosby? Okay. Where did the idea for that story come about?
It's a bit of a funny one. So me and Nate were hanging out in one of our local bars, and we had a couple of pals with us. There was Rich Ginter, who at the time worked for Marvel, now works for DC, and another pal, Becky Clunan, who did a cover for us. And
Did you say Rich Ginter?
yeah, we have Rich.
Yeah,
Rich
Rich
shot.
Rich used to pull his hair forever.
California.
He's out in
now.
LA now, yeah, Disney boy out in LA. So yes, we were hanging out with Becky, a good pal of ours, and so Nate and Becky were joking about the barbacks being a Cuban sleeper cell. It's not quite as dreadfully racist as it sounds. We knew them well, and we knew that they were Cuban, so it was. Where do comic writers get their ideas from? Exactly. And so, but then Nate came back to me like a few days later, and he was like, you know what? Wouldn't it be kind of cool if there was a Cuban sleeper cell? Well, as long as it didn't involve those fuckers, I guess it would have kind of cool. And so we started throwing a few ideas around, and so we kind of figured out a framework for what would eventually become Pigs, and we really enjoyed doing it. We'd like to return to the series at some point.
Well, that was my question. Is it over?
We've got so much more planned out.
It can't be because the last issue says continued.
Well, that's it. There's certainly lots more story to tell. We just need to figure out a few kind of logistical issues to get more out there. But there's certainly more, and we very much hope to unleash it upon the unsuspecting public as soon as humanly possible.
It's funny because Pigs here at our shop did well in the beginning. There was a slight lull, and then there was a big pickup again in it. I just noticed myself ringing people up, and it's like, oh wow, you bought 4 issues of Pigs. Okay, you know what I mean? And I feel like that happened with Memoir as well. That happened.
The last issue of the Gap.
Yeah.
The last issue that came out, and I know at least almost a dozen people that were like, I'm just gonna grab all the issues now. Awesome.
Yeah,
just grabbed 1 to 5.
Yeah, I've been a bit unlucky with I'm not going to name names, but I've been a bit unlucky with certain artists turning in books late, which is I'll say no more of it, but it can be a little frustrating.
Well, not for nothing, people could Google.
It's a little bit of a momentum killer to say the least. But what are you gonna do?
It happens.
You should start drawing your own.
Hey, artist people, if you can draw quick, I will love you long time.
Everything's a turkey. All Ben's
If
characters.
the book comes out on time, I'll fucking take it.
That was my other question, because the story's about a Russian sleeper cell that starts in Cuba with the Bay of Pigs.
Right.
Did you watch that new FX show, The Americans, and go, fuck?
I didn't see it, but I still went, fuck. Now, you know what? I hear it's actually really cool. It's supposed to be a really, really fun show. A little frustrating in that so many different TV and movie production companies contacted us about the rights to Pigs. And then it was just kind of like weird. Like there was one particular company who'd been in touch, and then there was a bit of a lull. And then all of a sudden the Americans is announced, which is basically the same story minus the Cuban angle.
It's
exactly the same thing. You just kind of eliminates the Cuban. And like I say, I'm not gonna.
Does that make you paranoid?
You should start your own sleeper cell to get these guys.
You know, it's
well,
like
it's weird because you hear like Fables was supposed to be on ABC, and then all of a sudden, Once Upon a Time.
it's like this is.
And then Grimm.
I've spoken to various people about this. I've spoken to my agent. I've spoken to friends who've been in similar situations. This isn't an uncommon scenario by all accounts. Another one of my good right buddies, again, to avoid kind of any controversy, perish the thought. I won't.
Controversy means controversy.
No, it actually means titty fucking people.
Really?
But from this moment henceforth, it does.
Absolutely.
But so like, I've spoken to one writer pan in particular who has been in this situation twice, and in his case, it was even more obvious because it involved specialist fantasy creations. Like with Pigs, it's like, okay, you know, the Bay of Pigs and Cold War. You can understand maybe two stories and two different writers coming up with something similar, and it, you know, bad luck for at least one party. It means the other person gets to go ahead. But you know what? It is what it is. Whatever. Whereas this particular writer, it happened to him twice, and both times stories were produced that were remarkably similar to his, that had no bearing on actual reality. So he was kind of shafted. So you know, it happens, man. It's the entertainment world, and people want to make money, and the people not only want to make money, but they want to pay as little money to other people as humanly possible.
Of course.
You know, it's a bit of a vicious circle, but it is what it is.
Can you talk at all about what's going on with memoir?
Well, memoir, the stuff I can talk about, it was picked up by Warner Brothers for development as a TV
Did
show.
you know that?
No.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
awesome.
man, so that's pretty cool.
Awesome. Congrats.
Yeah, man.
Cheers.
It is, man, indeed. Well, yeah, so we'll
Pay those bills.
Fucking hell, man, fucking hell. When you write comics for a living, there generally tends to be bills to pay. But so that's kind of cool. We'll see what happens with that. There's been some kind of advancements, but if I talk, Warner Brothers lawyers will murder my family.
We don't want
We are heard on
We make a good
6 of the
comment.
7 continents.
Well, then someone else would have to write.
Did I mention that we now have listeners in Norway?
Yeah, I saw Oslo.
Norway,
So
and Wisconsin.
yeah, so you got some black metal and cheese. Got black metal and cheese.
Cheese and snow.
Well,
One of my good pals back in England was, he was actually from England.
Ben is unimpressed.
No, I'm very impressed. I'm following the Norway angle. This is pretty awesome. He was born in England, moved to Norway when he was a kid because his dad was doing oil stuff. They had to move to Ireland. So I had to move to oil run. So they had to move to Norway. And he got into it was like crazy black metal shit, and so he used to go to the forest with his mates and drink and like do satanic stuff. And then when he got back to England, he was like, "Wow, people don't do this shit here. What the fuck?" And he introduced me to all these like mental fucking bonkers bands. And this was like 96, 97.
oh, that was the heat of it.
Oh man, well, like 96, 97, a lot of the bands he introduced me to were really scary. Like, actually ended up not turning totally mainstream, but like certainly more mainstream.
Yeah.
Like Satyricon and Dimo Burger.
Yeah,
all that
those
kind
are
of
bands that
stuff.
stepped out of it into like like Gorgoroth and
And
everyone
then
like that just
that's
stayed
when I was
around.
like listening to stuff like Emperor, and it's
Oh,
like, wow,
beautiful.
fucking like I was listening to it, and at the time I was like a real raver. I was I'm not.
You like your disco house
on the podcast, but like
You like your disco house and your titles and clubs?
Yeah, not listen to that. Certainly not people in Norway or Wisconsin. I used to go out to like kind of like a maniacal nightclubs and refresh my brain and listen to crazy fucking drum and bass and techno.
Waffle knows about this.
But what?
Yeah.
What is, you know,
I did that bit.
We've never
Beer
had.
and stuff.
Yeah,
Not saying.
exactly.
You and I have discussed plenty of things, but we've never ever discussed musical preference.
Ooh.
So, like right now, what are you listening to right now?
Okay, so a bit of a cheat answer, but like totally a genuine one. Because I don't have much time to listen to music as I used to. Like, as in, I only get a chance to listen to music when I write. And if it's something...
So you do listen to music when you write?
Oh, I do, but it can't involve too much in the way of lyrics because I get distracted.
Yeah.
So like the get out of jail card is like listening to movie soundtracks. Just because it's perfect, right?
Yeah.
Music is like...
Video game soundtracks.
Oh, really?
Check out the Final Fantasy stuff. I'm being serious. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a great
Beautiful.
suggestion.
Beautiful. There's some
It's
like
kind of like rousing orchestral.
it goes like a rousing orchestral to really quiet, quaint, like down to earth. And then there's like a lot
Just
of
like you?
yeah. There's a lot of like acoustic stuff that they do.
Oh, wow,
It's all
that's really
instrumental.
good show.
Ben,
Yeah.
Mass Effect shit.
Could I
Yeah.
make you a CD to listen to when you're writing of just me going?
What could possibly be more inspiring?
Whatever's gonna do it, Ben.
Mate,
Keep
it'll
writing.
be a goosebumps.
Son, can I be a-
Obama.
I can see you.
I'll say it. I'll invite my friends out. Listen, this is where Socko's voice breaks.
I can see like Heidi walking out of the bed, rubbing her eye in her feety pajamas, saying, "What the fuck is that? Is
And I'm
that
like,
Socko?"
you know what that is? That's the delicate crackle of Socko's.
Can I just be the crash symbol? Just in the background making non-crash
Oh no,
sound.
I'm gonna do it on 24 tracks.
Yes.
And it's gonna be my voice doing all the different things from there while he's writing.
Yes.
He'll never get anything done.
What sound in the background will be Wagner twisting in his grave.
Ben will write the most horrible comics he's ever
Oh
written.
my god.
Title da 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 da.
You realize next February that's
Oh,
your
it's gonna be incredible.
that's your birthday present next
Mate.
February.
Issue 1,
yeah, your
Socko
birthday's fun.
Skullboxer motherfucker. Published by Avatar.
Who else?
I was just about to say that sounds
Love
like
the
Danny
Avatar.
Harville.
They can come here and sign
Oh.
anytime they want.
Fuck yeah, I would love to see that in the back of Avatar comics. You know how they always have the preview, like
Yeah.
7 pages of comics coming out from Avatar.
Or just a preview skull fucking or something.
Just my mouth. My mouth.
like going,
And it was still only the 7th most offensive book they published. God, that is with the top 5.
And then just name it Mouthfucker.
For short.
For sure. Because otherwise it's the thrilling adventures sometimes and loves of
Mouthfucker.
fucking mouth hugs.
mouth hugs.
God bless you, Ben McCool.
So Ben, are you writing anything at the moment?
Yeah.
I am, but
Get to
just to be a complete cocktails, I can't actually talk
Yeah.
about it.
That's
A
cool.
bunch of new stuff. I mean, my most recent thing is Lookout with the Penny Arcade. one.
Yes.
I really dig Lookouts.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. That's been a ton of fun.
Cryptozoic.
When the fuck they're putting out issue 6?
That's a good question.
Question. Well, you hear they had this big Kickstarter thing recently?
No.
They had a Kickstarter for a new card game that raised like $3 million.
Yeah.
They really?
Yeah.
That's what happened.
like,
Games
so
don't get that
apparently-
much on Kickstarter. So
They should do a Kickstarter for your electric bill.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Or just my bills in general. But yeah, it was just like, so apparently everyone...
We should totally do that. We should start a Kickstarter.
Just Ben's smiling face.
Yeah, indeed, man. I talk bullshit, you pay my bill. Hey man, what the
Donate $5 and get a bottle cap.
In the words of
Donate
Dr.
500, get some of Ben's homemade spaghetti sauce. God knows what's in it.
spaghetti sauce. Ben from England. In the words of Dr. Pepper, what's the worst that could happen? But so apparently everyone was working on this Kickstarter, and we're just waiting for them to put the issue together and put it out. Because when they do, we've got the first arc, and then we can put a trade out, and like, people have really digged it. I mean,
Oh, trade will do
when
great.
issue 1 came out issue 1 was released way in advance, digitally exclusive for Comic Con. So it came out the same week as Comic Con, like so, third week of July last year, the only book that sold more copies digitally was Avengers vs. X-Men issue 1.
Mm-hmm.
And bear in mind, no one knew what the fuck Cryptozoic was.
So most of the time, people just need to see Penny Arcade, Gabe and Tycho's name and stuff.
Oh, it's insane.
Yep.
It was just
That's honestly, I saw that, and then I saw you were writing it, and I actually got like double excited. I was like, "That's really cool,
Oh, man.
awesome."
Yeah, I thought, cheers, mate.
I'm a huge Penny Arcade fan.
Well-
It's just a draw.
Oh, thanks, man.
Cheers
Like,
means thank you.
Yes, it does.
It means many other things.
It also means beverage. I'm a beverage man.
Yeah.
Just for the record, I am bereft of beverage.
I was going to say, I think Ben's starting to get slightly pissed off.
It's my fault.
Yeah. Insert cat
He's
history.
supposed to watch his empty beer and just have another one ready.
No, it's all good. But yeah, so anyway, so yeah, look out for like issue 6. I mean, it's my favourite issue of the series without question. There's a big revelation. Rob's art is delicious as always. So yeah, man. So that's kind of cool, and there's like a bunch of other cool stuff I'm working on at the moment. That next time I do this podcast, I'll tell you all about. I've got to keep my lips sealed for now because I'm a complete cock tease.
Yeah.
But,
It's beautiful though.
yeah, man. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
All right, so I had mentioned once before the story about you screaming cunt. Because I brought up, we have a segment on the show. I don't know if, you know, being one of my closest friends, I'm sure you've listened to this podcast over and over. You don't miss an episode.
Until my ears bleed.
Good answer.
I actually know Heidi has listened to a few episodes.
I think she's written about it on the B as well. Isn't she?
Has she?
I believe so.
Fuck. I know she put, which I thanked her for profusely at your birthday party, but she had put a photo of the crew of the podcast up on Facebook and said, put a caption underneath that said "The Real Comic Book Men," which was very, very nice.
Cool.
Awesome.
But yeah, I mentioned that I have a thing called Socko Topics, and I brought up the term cunt and why is it so offensive. And then I brought up the story of us watching the Steelers one Sunday morning.
This was
beautiful.
This was a
And what the hell's the name of it? Reservoir.
reservoir. Yeah, it's like
Glorious.
And it's amazing, you know. That somebody threw it into who was throwing that? Charlie Batch? No.
it was Charlie Batch was a quarterback.
Charlie Batch threw an interception, and it was pretty fucking quiet and far. And like I said in the story, and it's like, oh,
jam packed, bear in mind.
and
Jam-packed.
jam-packed. And there's this woman who we always find ourselves next to wears that Buffalo Bills hat. Right?
That's fantastic.
Buffalo, and she's always watching the Buffalo game.
There's like
And
one TV with the Buffalo
Can you
Bills.
just answer how Bledsoe's doing every time you see her?
Ben just leaned. He was like kind of leaning in between her and was just like, "Oh, you fucking cunt!"
The volume achieved by my vote.
The record scratched.
Believe me, it's almost as if the bar hired a piano player just so we could stop playing, turn around and look at me. I was then like, sorry.
Yeah. Ben's like, "Sorry, no problem." Yeah.
It was just like horror echoed throughout the bar, man. And I forgot that's like the one remaining taboo in America. Like in England, no one gives a fuck.
Yeah.
It's just a
That's
word.
literally the last word in this country
My
that you
only-
can't
Right.
say.
My only disappointment about it though was that Ben hadn't had enough beers where he apologized and then said, "But he is a fucking cunt."
I just went, yeah, exactly. I was
With
like,
your immaculate reception jacket on.
oh, that's right. I had my Franco Harris immaculate.
I gotta tell you though, if honestly, wow, I can't believe I'm about to say this because I can't think of an equivalent right now. But big ups to Reservoir, because if you're a displaced Pittsburghian and a Steelers fan, and you live in any of the fucking 5 boroughs, you really need to go to
Where's
Reservoir
Reservoir?
and
It's
watch.
between 10th and 11th and University.
Fantastic.
I know,
If you're
yeah,
a Pittsburgh
it's
fan,
right now in
there's
the village.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a Penguins bar up
they
on the
even
Empire
have
State
Steel
Building.
City beer on tap there.
Yeah.
And, you know,
And if you're very lucky, you get to hear me bellow the word cunt
Yes.
absolutely.
with obscene volume.
That usually happens about an hour after I tell Ben I'm on the boat, and he says, "Fuck, had a horrible night last night, drank way too much, but I'll get it sorted and see you soon. Ben is forever
Painstaking accuracy.
That was very good.
Almost every time I'm on the boat on my way into the city to meet Ben, it's fuck. And always the assurance of, I'll get it sorted and see you soon. Once I get another beer in me, I'll be fine, I'm sure.
Once again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Socko, just kiss me. Yeah, man, that's
Not the first, won't be the last.
Big ups.
Alright then. How do we possibly top that?
We top that maybe with some listener email? Or
Yeah, listener emails.
Yes! You have new mail.
Jesus! That lump of shit's working for the LAPD.
I don't get it.
No, I don't either.
I think we're all to it.
Listener
Here we
emails.
go. We got a listener email. We got a few actually.
I like when Tiger reads them.
All right. Well, you're in luck because I'm about to read one right now.
Whoa!
Whatever.
No, I love you too, Waffle.
Cheers, everyone. Recently, I walked into a Remnant Cigar Sport Card comic book shop in my neighborhood and found a 50-cent spinner rack.
Wait. A remnant what?
Cigar Sport Card comic book shop.
Fire, paper.
Yeah.
You know, like if I was a caveman, I'd be like, oh, bad investment.
I think a humidor in comics works.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. In it was an interesting crossover I probably would have overlooked a year ago. It was The Amazing Spider-Man vs. Powdered Toast Man. The issue of Rennis to be written by Dan Slott.
Dan Slott, yep.
I instantly bought it along with about 8 other various books. This issue had me laughing to myself and is now my favorite crossover issue. I've listened to every episode, but I find myself re-listening most to episodes featuring creators, like the episode with Dan Slott. I just wanted to share an experience of how CBJ broadened the range of books I pick up, while also adding a depth to the reading experience by giving listeners like me the chance to experience the voices behind the pages. P.S. I also stayed away from any book that had Liefeld written on the cover. Well done. That was by John Ferrara.
John Ferrara. All right. Is he a first-time writer?
Second time.
Second time. Well, John, you're going to enjoy tonight's podcast because we have Ben McCool with us. So,
And John, if you didn't know,
we have to share that.
Speaking to the beer bottle.
Ben leaned into the beer bottle to say a word.
First time.
the first time we had Dan Slott here, I had him sign that exact copy because I bought that when I was a kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had him sign. That's Red Slippy number 8.
That's fucking awesome.
That's the first time he ever wrote Spider-Man, too.
Did you know that?
I did
First
not.
time that Dan Slott wrote Spider-Man was Red and Stimpy number 8, Spider-Man versus Powdered Toast Man.
You joking?
No, I swear to God.
I did not know that.
I'm not lying.
In that comic, who won?
Well, it's probably not like a fight, like just like
Yeah.
Archie meets Punisher. I doubt there's a real like altercation because it's pretty
Powdered
one-sided.
Toast Man.
Yeah, I hope Powdered Toast Man did win.
Was there a question in there at all?
No, he just wanted to let us know.
He put us all in the back.
Cool.
We love you.
Cool.
Thanks,
We got,
John. I love you, too.
Q, which means you drink. That was 1, 2, 3, 4 Q's, now 5.
Cool.
Well, we had another letter. I'm just going to continue reading.
Welcome to my world.
Hey guys.
Hey guys!
Love the podcast and especially the awesome YouTube channel.
Well, it must be that flick.
2 quick questions. 1, I'm looking for a standalone Marvel or DC graphic novel trade. Something that's not a complete story along the lines of Batman Year One or God Loves Man Kills.
Powerless.
Not Marvel Masterworks or the like. Any recommendations?
Powerless.
Old Man Logan.
Old Man Logan.
Spider-Man Blue.
Yeah, there
Batman
you
The
go.
Long Halloween.
Yeah.
Or
Powers is really good.
Avengers Children's Crusade.
Marvel Romance Redo.
Wolverine the Last. It's good.
Year 100.
That's good.
Origin is also very good.
Wolverine Origin.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Paul
Kingdom
Jenkins.
Come.
Kingdom Comes to Marvels.
Marvels, yeah.
Marvel.
Secret
Yeah, Marvels.
War.
Marvels.
I wish
Marvels.
Silent War was in print. If Silent War was in print, I would just give you that.
Got the Secret War in hardcover.
Secret
myself.
War.
DC's Identity Crisis.
Oh yeah. That's a good one.
Avengers
The
Disassembled.
Brad Meltzer.
New Frontier. DC's New Frontier.
Yeah.
Darwin Cool.
We can keep going.
Yeah, fucking my favorite.
Oh god, yeah, New Frontier.
Yeah.
I actually just ordered the last few issues that I'm missing.
New Frontier.
Yeah.
Like I literally cried at the end of New Frontier. I literally did.
The first Marvel Zombies is so fantastic.
Well, actually, you know
Dead
what?
Days
Yes.
and Army of Darkness.
I
Army of
agree.
Darkness is out of print though.
Talking about DC though, and it's coming out next week in a dual set in one trade. Batgirl Year 1 and Robin Year 1.
I just finished Robin Year 1.
Villains United.
Batgirl Year 1 is ridiculous.
Yeah.
If you want another totally different take, JSA The Golden Age.
Ooh.
Which is another...
The Nail.
Green Lantern's,
the Nail!
Green Lantern's Will World.
Yeah, but they did a Nail too.
Yeah, that one.
You don't have to read it.
Ben, did you ever read The Nail?
Oh, gotta be
DC?
honest, I did not.
It's if Ma and Pa Kent on their way to find Superman in the cornfield drove over a nail and got a flat.
It never got.
And how the world would be changed.
When was this published?
This came out
late 90s, I want to say.
late
Maybe
90s, early 2000s.
like 2002, 2001, maybe.
I believe it was
fucking brilliant.
I believe it was one of the last Elseworlds books.
Also,
when it actually said Elseworlds.
Mark Waid's JLA Year 1.
Superman, Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow.
Oh, Alan Moore. Boom, boom, boom.
I love that comic. Mesopleasic as the bad guy.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
My favorite was Superman Red Sun. That's always my favorite.
That's
Superman
fucking brilliant, man.
Red Sun is
so
just
good, man.
Yeah.
Red Sun, we move a lot of it. I feel like it's always a secondary thought for us.
Yeah.
And then, like, when one of us is like, when somebody comes in and they're like, well, I want like a Superman or Batman Elseworld story, and we're all like, hey, Waffle, can you think of one? And he's like, Babyface, can you think of one?
Yeah.
And Babyface always has something like, Green Lantern has the fucking penis with the monkey. and it's like, oh shit, fucking Red Sun.
Yeah.
Marvel Knights Angel. Oh, that was really good.
You know something that was fucking great that that DC really needs to get on the horse and put back in print? And I know Waffle's gonna remember this. I'm not sure if Babyface and Tiger will, but Batman, Wonder Woman, the Hycadia.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking great standalone trade.
I've never even heard of
That's
this.
what won me over to Wonder Woman.
Look, the cover. Here's all you need to know: the cover of the trade was Wonder Woman's boot, while Batman is sideways on his face.
Yeah.
And there's a point. There's a point in the story where Diana says to Bruce, she's like, "Bruce, just stay down." You know, it's epic. Epic fucking
I'm not
love.
familiar with this at all.
The Hycadia is basically the Amazonians. It's almost like a safe word.
Yeah.
You know, and there was a girl who committed some crimes in Gotham, and then went to, I believe at the time, Wonder Woman was at the embassy in New York City.
Yeah.
And she showed up there, and she said, "I'm invoking Hycadia," and Wonder Woman has to honor it.
Yep.
And Batman is like, no, this girl committed devious crimes in Gotham. She's fucking coming with me. And it's just them going at it. And it's brilliant. It's
Like
brilliant.
a parlay.
Oh, it's so fucking good.
Who worked on that?
Clumsy Lou and Dangerous Dave.
Oh, Wesley Willis.
Trials of
Willis, that's a
Shazam.
new one.
I think all in Marvel and DC, any of the alternate, like the What If comics. I mean, that's one of my prized comics that I had back in the day was the What If comic of if the Venom symbiote jumped.
To Punisher? Oh man, are you talking about Venom? If the Punisher had the Venom symbiote, or are you
No,
talking about another one?
it kept jumping. So jumped to Hulk, jumped to a Thor.
Because when you said Venom and What If, I went to the best What If story, which is what if the Punisher had the Venom symbiote.
Is that
Which
enough
was
for you, Matt?
the first Punisher,
think so.
the first Venom with.
Are you writing this down?
Oh yeah, before yeah.
It's all on here. I'll write it out later.
Yeah, it was just a Punisher in a black jumpsuit, pretty much.
He's recording it on film.
One of my favorite what ifs was what if Rogue got the hammer of Thor.
What if Wolverine became the Lord of the Vampires?
The
That was
What If
pretty good.
Korvac saga is dog-eared.
Have they ever compiled those into a trade?
What,
There's
Korvac?
there's five
Yeah,
five
sure.
volumes of classic What Ifs, and now every year when they do the new ones, they do a trade usually of that year's like wave of What Ifs.
Well, that's where like Spider-Girl started.
Yeah.
So What If comic.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
With
Lady
the
Ed
child.
Parker.
Yeah.
What if Silver Surfer got the Infinity Gauntlet? That was good.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, are we done with this one?
Oh, we have another letter. Babyface is being a doofus. And we have another question from Matt Flick. Between Babyface and TBD, who do you think will snap and end up in a bell tower with a high-powered sniper rifle first? Rifle. first. As a result of being part of the podcast. I think Babyface.
Ed,
No, I think Babyface for sure.
Ed, he's suicidal.
I think it might be a joint venture, and then they.
one of them puts the gun together, and the other one fires.
Well, you gotta have the scout.
They have a
Yeah.
competition now.
Fire.
Here's why I say Babyface. I think Babyface is more concerned with people's perception of him than TBD is. I think TBD has a little more of a, hey, I am what I am. Go fuck yourself attitude. For Christ's sakes, the guy's a forensics coach.
I feel like I feel like it's a little bit of a thinner line, though. I feel like he's a little bit of a thinner line, though. Oh, Mazel Tov! Finish your drink. Not you. Everyone out there. Not you. I don't know. Am I the only one at the table that thinks Ed?
So it seems.
Oh well.
So it seems.
Who do you think, Ben?
I have confidence in Babyface's mental stability.
Ben just exhaled.
I'm just gonna sigh deeply.
Alright, well, that email was from Gimby Matt Flick. Thank you.
Hey, what about
Matt, I want to know what you think.
I personally think TBD.
Matt's on my.
Especially after last week.
Yeah.
I disagree. I respectfully disagree.
Whatever.
Alright. One more letter. This is from Jerk Off
Wow,
Jones.
this is short.
Was that Jerk Off?
Jerk Off Jones.
Jones, yes.
I love it.
What up, gang? Last week was fun. Best show yet, in my opinion. Well, so that's because you appeared in it.
That was like canned laughter for a moment.
Let's keep it simple. 2 questions this week. Ed, pick 3 of our guests. You have them ready? Good. FNK on them.
We have 3 guests, so FMK our guests. Ryan, Jake, Ben.
I don't think any of them look like they're too interested in getting this done.
I don't think Ben knows what FMK is.
Fuck, marry, kill.
Fuck, marry, kill. He's got to pick one of you to fuck, one of you to marry, one of you to kill.
Okay, fair enough. Seems legit.
I think it's a. I'd probably fuck Ryan.
Thank you.
Ryan's
getting fucked.
That would be probably the closest I would get to fucking Bill Murray.
Is this a dream of yours?
Ed wants to fuck Bill Murray.
Yeah, he's a boyhood hero. Why not?
Ed wants to
fuck your boyhood hero. Did you dream they touched us from back in the day?
Well, not until you put that image in my head. But
Are you gonna fuck Bill Murray to any of the songs from Ghostbusters, like "Saving the Day"?
Busted makes me feel good.
Busting a nut.
Here comes the ectoplasm.
He's flying.
I don't know. Based on the way he's talking tonight, it might be like a toss up. But I'm going to guess that Ben makes more money than Jake. So that's why I'd probably marry him. Sorry, Jake. You're the one.
Jake's dead.
You are shallow.
Marrying you, Ben.
You're so shallow. That's the only reason why you're married Ben, not because of his awesome accent.
I'm just trying to think of the practicality.
He looks like a color.
Alright.
I can't kill that one.
Babyface, what do you see being the best fuck animal for Ed? Hands off.
That's what it
I
says.
need to get to the mic.
Right here.
Wow, I'm second. A chinchilla.
Also, same question for you as Ed.
I like the goat.
I don't know, you gave me goat.
No,
wait.
Same question for you as Ed. FMK.
But now we know.
Oh, I thought you meant what animal do I have to get?
No.
So
I just like telling you gotta fuck a goat.
I was talking about
Just FYI, I'm only getting married once tonight.
I'm fucking bad. I guess I'm marrying Jake because I've talked to him a little bit longer, so I'm sorry.
So after that moment of pleasure with Ed, you're done.
Or maybe it was before I was killed, and then Ed.
Oh
Yeah,
no!
Alright, that makes this
Sorry,
really
Dad.
creepy.
I'm so glad we're liberal and progressive.
That's also very interesting. Today is actually my 3-year wedding anniversary.
You're dead.
You're
getting married tonight.
Congrats, mate. Fair play.
Yeah.
Good job.
Well
Fair
done.
play means good job.
Just as we're talking about somebody who on the same podcast could feasibly be married after being bucked and killed. Who says romance is dead?
Alright, Derek continues. Both of you have to answer. If you don't, I don't know what happens. Well, they both did, so. That's
Go
okay.
fuck yourself.
Okay, when it comes to jerk off, Jones, I'm sorry. I'm a listener.
Your Team Gene?
Yeah, I am.
Ooh, Jake is of Minions of Gozer. Jake is Team Gene.
How old are we that we're still playing these FMKs? We play them a lot.
You're just upset because you have to deal with you.
I don't care. Ben, you guys are all cool.
Last question.
I couldn't care less. that was good.
I always get the pervy one.
Still got it.
I always got a fucking goat.
Dildos are for bananas.
Clearly.
That's what I've been using mine for. The best smoothies ever.
Last week when you were going off on that, all I pictured is like a factory,
making buckets of dildos.
No, like making baby food.
But Jake,
you know,
right?
But
Jake, but you just said he was going off.
Oh yeah,
you were going off.
Were you playing the drinking game last week?
No.
You sounded like it.
No, that was like a month ago. So good. That was fun. I don't know, what do you want me to say?
Well, that's listener email. There's no news this week. There is a quick Socko topic.
And?
Okay, and I just want very quick answer on this one. How long into a relationship before you start pissing and shitting in front of the other person? Ed.
I don't know. Is there a set point, like when the relationship?
Ed.
36 hours.
Okay, Waffle.
A couple months, 4 or 5 months.
4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
Babyface.
When it happens, it happens.
Tiger.
Yeah, safe. A few months.
Ben.
You don't want to know.
Jake.
I've been married for 3 years, and I still make sure that I close the door and that my wife closes the door.
Okay, so wait, your wife has never seen you drop trout, take a shit? You've never had a discussion about car payments while you're shitting?
No.
Okay.
I mean, we have some mystery, all right?
Okay.
I mean, you hear it, of course, but other than that,
Wow. Right.
Never.
Never ever.
Never ever.
It's never
ever.
time.
Don't cross that line.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time for some commercials, and we want to thank you for a wonderful podcast. Let's thank Minions of Gozer.
Yeah.
Let's thank our camera crew, Matt Flick and Kenny Schiebel. Jacob Minions of Gozer wants to say something. Woo!
Angela, we love you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Angela, for putting together Minions of Gozer.
Angela, believe. and last but not least, let's thank Mr. Ben McCool, comic book writer and legendary drinker. Yes!
Here's some commercials. If you ever find yourself in the tri-state area, give us a visit.
Because if you're lost, just come by. We'll give you directions.
Every Wednesday, everything in the store is 10% off.
What?
And all #1 issues and first volume graphic novels are 20% off.
Here's Jake's favorite part. Forever. Oh, Jake got to say forever.
Comic Book Jones has been nominated for the Will Eisner Spirit of Comics Retailer Award each of the last 3 years. If you live in New York City and like buying digital comics, go screw yourself. But if you live somewhere else in the world, like California or Colorado or Calcutta, and you want to buy digital comics, just head to comicbookjones.com, click on the Digital Store tab. There you'll find links to Comixology and the DC Digital Store, and you can buy your comics and help us out at the same time.
Help us out! I'm hungry.
You can follow us on Twitter at comicbookjones. Like us on facebook.com/comicbookjones. If you have any questions or topics you would like us to discuss, the show email is cbjpodcast@gmail.com. If we read your email on the show, you'll get a coupon for 25% off your next CBJ purchase.
Unless you send one every week.
The podcast blog is cbjpodcast.blogspot.com. The show's Tumblr page is wcbjradio.tumblr.com. The show's YouTube channel is youtube.com/WCBJ podcast. Babyface, what events do we have coming up?
Tomorrow night, which will be the past for you, is...
So it doesn't fucking matter.
Exactly.
Last night was really fun. Thank you for coming to
Thanks
the
for coming to the Man of Steel.
The percentage was 60 or something.
I really want this movie to be good.
I saw it last night.
Whoa! Hold on! Stop the commercials. You saw it last night?
I did. I'm not going to say a word until everyone else has seen it.
Just, did you enjoy it? Uh-oh.
So,
1 to 10. 1 to 10.
No. Here's the only thing I want to know. Is it good enough for them to make another one?
yes.
Okay,
Good.
That's it. That's
Scale of 1 to 10. What do you give it?
So, I'm still processing it. It's not the movie I was expecting.
Yeah, so you said that on
Pretzel
Twitter.
nuggets.
You said that on Twitter, and I took that as an
it's like-
interesting...
It's, you know what? Everyone go and check this movie out, because I'm as fascinated to hear what everyone else thought as I was by the movie itself. It's an interesting one. It's not your traditional Superman movie. Henry Cavill's fucking badass.
Who's Henry Cavill?
The guy played you.
Oh, thank you.
Amy Adams is really kind of cool as like Lois Lane. Again, unconventional. It's really difficult to say anything about it without giving away horrible spoilers.
Is Michael Shannon good as because just seeing him as just looks amazing.
Yes. It's everyone go and check it out. I'm really like, as I say, I know this is like a playful, awesome podcast, but like this is something everyone needs to go into as cold as possible, just because I'm really curious as to how people are gonna respond to it. Certain stuff happens I did not fucking expect.
Cool.
Some for the better,
Awesome.
some for the worse. I'll say no more. Everyone go watch the movie, and then we'll all talk about it on Twitter afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, what is your Twitter?
It's at Ben McCool, BenMcCool.
Website?
www.benmccool.com. I'm basically that dude with a ridiculous last name, McCool. MC fucking cool. I mean, like, how did anybody at any point in his... That's my real name.
No, how are you not a rap artist from 1993?
Oh, dude, tell me about it, man. Like, what the fuck was some Irish dude thinking of the fucking surname McCool? I know what, I'm gonna curse my future generations to, like, kind of...
That's the best.
Oh, it works.
It sounds preposterous.
No.
It's like, Ben McCool is like McLovin, but with a first name too.
that fucker's last name is Sheeble, for Christ's sake.
So seriously, you're
Pretty impressive.
No, it would be impressive if he wasn't Jewish.
My last name's not
Get out.
Alright, so, according to Ben McCool, go see Man of Steel.
I'll totally go and watch. Totally. It's
Ben says it's a brilliant movie, flawless. He loves it more than anything.
Also, he wants to be hired by DC.
He's not fighting me on
and
this.
also Zack Snyder totally gave me a rim job.
Nothing like a Snyder rim job.
All right.
back to events.
Product placement.
WCBJ Radio brought to you by Sliders of Hanover.
Exactly. Thank you, Gore, for the free pretzels. You'll be fired next week. So remember, just always remember, you want to give us anything for free at the shop, we're assholes.
We're gonna tell people.
We're gonna tell everybody on the podcast.
Hey, Pinto, where's my fucking cheese?
Exactly.
Where's our smoked butts?
Yeah.
So, Saturday, June 22nd.
Oh wow, Babyface actually has a point.
Saturday, June 22nd, we're having the guys who do the Living Corpse comic, Ken Hazer and Buzz Hassan, for the Living Corpse animated movie DVD release.
Yeah!
So they're going to be signing, sketching, and premiering the film, so come down, check it out. But also, that same night, the Minions of Gozer are
So you have a choice
perform in the
between
Cup.
two very awesome.
You can
movie
technically
events.
do both.
Yeah, what time is the setting at?
It's during the day, and then after 9 we're gonna do the release of the movie.
They should look. Buzz and Ken, super regulars signing here at the shop. The confirmation I got was, we'll be there around 1. So, ladies and gentlemen, June 22nd.
4 or 5.
You want a sketch that's going to take Ken or Buzz a while? Get here around 1. And I'm sure they'll be hanging out all night until we close. And,
Yep.
and then
maybe we'll be with you guys.
We're definitely all going to head over and check out Minions of Gozer, because I like them.
It's gotta be done, man. I need to see this shit. I need to see Minions of Gozer. I need to see Minions of Gozer.
I think that's the most eloquent way we've ever heard that joke.
Yes.
It's the dog's bollocks.
And let's not forget
Yes,
our
it
picks
is.
for
Yes,
next week.
it is.
Our picks? Oh, shit.
I know my pick is something in Socko Volume
Saga.
2.
Volume 2. Good
Yes.
pick, man.
Mhm.
Brian K. Vaughan. You're a fan of Why the Last Man, Pride of Baghdad, Ex Machina. You should definitely be reading fucking Saga. Fiona Staples' artwork is ridiculous. And you will never ever be able to buy an original page because she does it all digitally.
And then she burns her laptops.
Waffle, your pick.
I'm going with Captain Midnight #0.
Why?
Why? Because it's a fantastic old character that they're breathing new life into.
Wow.
And what's the company?
Dark Horse. Dark
Oh,
Horse is,
surprise, surprise.
yeah, Dark Horse is bringing back their hero line, and this is what, the 3rd book now in the hero line that they're bringing back. There was X, and I want to count Black Beetle in that.
Ghost.
I'm sorry, yeah, Ghost
Yeah.
and X are technically the heroes that have come out so far. Both have been excellent. Captain Midnight, the Zero is everything that was in Dark Horse.
Black Beetle, I'm pretty sure, is a new creation.
No, but I mean just part of the hero line because they're
The
bringing new
answer.
characters into it.
Yeah.
The answer is one of them then.
What?
The
Maybe.
answer?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
answer.
the answer is actually a new character also.
My pick for next week is Trinity of Sin Pandora #1, because for DC to throw this character into every single #1 for the new 52, we gotta see what the big deal is.
No, you're absolutely right.
At least with this one, I won't have to go scouring through pages to find her appearance.
But I'll be honest with you, if Babyface didn't pick this, then I definitely would have, because it's about time they explain this fucking
Yeah,
bullshit.
it's been 2 years.
Because it to me at this point now it's bullshit. You know, just come on.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
I almost feel like what's coming out on Wednesday is an afterthought. You know what I mean, right, Tiger?
Sure.
Tiger wants to go over that meatballs.
There's no me.
Tiger, what's your pick?
I picked Malevolent Mr. Burns #1.
Yes!
I love
Oh, it's so good.
I might say that I am Mr. Burns.
Those other versions are so fucking awesome.
Yeah.
The little Homer one was so fucking funny.
Tiger, aka Mr. Burns. I love it.
I could see Tiger doing the finger clap like.
Fuck it.
What about you, Socko?
Smithers?
Wait, does that make Keith Smithers?
Yeah.
Oh man, that'd be awesome.
It's to ensure you have a mighty hump. My pick was Animal Man #21 because the past 2 issues of Animal Man, since the whole Rot story has ended, have been, and I loved that story. I really, really did, and I've been super impressed with Animal Man since the beginning. But the past 2 issues have just been fucking mind blowing, and it's some of the best writing I've read in a long
Jeff
time.
Lemire has basically
Jeff's just
stomped
fucking-
down
he's
on
brilliant,
Buddy Baker's
man.
soul.
And I can't wait to see where it goes. And I'm gonna totally throw it out there. We were moving a lot more Animal Man for a while, and now the sales have gone back. And I'm gonna ask you guys, seriously, anyone who listens regularly, and I'm talking to Flick, and I'm talking to Eccles, and I'm talking to fucking Bakakikio. What if you were reading it? Why the fuck did you drop it? Because
The last issue with his movie, phenomenal. That's
no,
probably the best issue.
ridiculous. The past 2 issues, some of the best writing
it's
that I've
painful.
read
It's
in
painful.
a long time.
It's really painful when there's a crossover and then they're like, "Oh, that was a cool story. I'm done."
Yeah.
Walk away from books. Well, what do you're not curious what continued to go on? What Swamp Thing went into? You don't care.
It's just like Morrison's Animal Man series that got canceled, and people revisit it now, and they're like, "Oh fuck, this was great." And I'm starting to get a little nervous that that's what's going to happen now with Animal Man. And Animal Man is a great fucking character. Buddy Baker is incredible. Just seriously, go 2 issues back. I'm not saying buy the first trade. Go 2 issues back. Ask us what the fuck is going on. We'll be more than happy to tell you. But just continue with fucking Animal Man. Bam! Just point at the camera because we got camera.
Points with authority, man.
Yeah. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for listening. This is almost a double-sized episode. Again, let's thank our guests.
Nice one. Lovely job.
Please retweet. Everyone out there, thank you for listening. Please share this with your friends.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt. You know, I noticed that I share episodes on my Facebook, and you know, I get likes for being like, I farted, but it's like like and comment, blah, 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 blah. If you're really my fucking friends, and the only reason I have Facebook, honestly, is for my business, and you don't like or comment on this shit, fuck you.
That's right.
We're talking to you, Ryan.
I would like every single one.
Thanks so much. Kieran Believe, WCBJ signing off.
Bye!
Toodles.